At 2 in the morning, the jungle began to move. Not metaphorically. It moved with mortars, with whistles. Inside a small clearing in the central highlands of Vietnam, 12 Green Berets realized something terrifying. This wasn't a probe, this wasn't harassment. An entire enemy regiment was coming straight for them, and they did not flee. During the Vietnam War, the U.S. Army Special Forces built a network of remote outposts. They were called A camps. Officially, they were training sites for the Civilian Irregular Defense Group. Each camp was run by a single operational detachment alpha, usually 12 Green Berets. They were backed by hundreds, sometimes thousands, of indigenous fighters. Montagnards, men defending their villages because no one else would. The Green Berets didn't just train them. They lived with them. They fought with them. And when the attacks came, they died with them. An A camp was not a base. It was a perimeter of sandbags, wire, and faith. Inside the wire, everyone had a role. A team sergeant running the defense, a weapons sergeant manning machine guns, a medic treating casualties under fire, a communications sergeant calling for airstrikes, often with antennas shot away. When the attack came, it came at night, because the enemy knew daylight meant air power. In 1965, the A camp at Plei was surrounded, not by guerrillas, but by the North Vietnamese Army regulars, an organized, disciplined force. Mortars fell for days. Assault waves followed. The Green Berets held, not because they had better weapons, but because they refused to abandon their CIDG fighters. When relief finally arrived, the camp still stood. But the lesson was clear. A camps weren't speed bumps. They were targets. At Dak Seang, the enemy came with artillery. The camp was isolated. Green Berets directed airstrikes so close that debris rained inside the wire. CIDG fighters, many wounded, stayed at their posts. Several Green Berets were killed or wounded, manning crew-served weapons. They refused to fall back. They refused to abandon the men they had trained. When the camp was finally relieved, it looked like a moonscape. Dak Seang held. At Ben Het, the North Vietnamese Army brought tanks. This was never supposed to happen. An A camp was not meant to face armor. Green Berets and the CIDG fighters destroyed tanks at point-blank range. Bunkers collapsed. Entire fighting positions vanished under artillery fire. Men were buried alive and dug out to keep fighting. Ben Het survived, but the enemy now understood what these camps meant, and they intended to erase them. Not every camp was relieved. At A Shau, the enemy attacked with overwhelming force. Air support was limited. The weather closed in, and the camp was overrun. Some defenders escaped into the jungle. Others were captured. Many were never seen again. The Green Berets who survived carried that weight for the rest of their lives, because they didn't just lose a position. They lost people who trusted them. Green Berets died in these camps doing unglamorous things. They died treated wounded CIG fighters under fire, repairing radios during bombardment, manning machine guns after the gunners were killed. They refused evacuation because their men couldn't leave, and therefore neither would they. CIDG fighters died by the hundreds. Many were later hunted down after the American forces withdrew. Their loyalty outlasted U.S. policy. The A camp battles proved something permanent. Small teams, embedded deeply, could hold off forces many times their size. The A camps are mostly gone now. The jungle has reclaimed them. But the men who fought there, Americans and CIDG alike, set a standard that has never faded. When the wire was cut, when the mortars fell, when evacuation was offered, they stayed, because leaving would have meant abandoning the people they trained, and that was never an option. This is what honor looks like, and this is what the Green Berets still carry forward. If you have enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This is Blue Steel Heroes, and we'll see you next time.